What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this one, I'm going to be showing you how to make a skyscraper. This is the third installment of Skyscraper. And yeah, this one I went with a more basic design. I made something in the backrooms map that was kind of like this, just at a smaller scale. And I actually really liked the way that it looked, so I figured I'd kind of pump it up a little bit and make a, full thing like this out of it, as you can see. It is quite large, but I think it's smaller than the other two, actually, in ground space. Here's your interior space, in case all of the windows didn't give you a hint at how big it looked. And, yeah, that is all. So with that being said, enjoy the tutorial, and I will catch you on the flip side. Here are all the materials you're needing for this build as well. Not really a ton overall. Alrighty, and the space for me of this is a 40 by 40. That might actually be my favorite looking grid as far as the colors. I don't know why. Something about it just so mesmerizing. Anyway, for to start off, yeah, sure, that's good enough. You need the following. You want polished blackstone, black stained glass, dark oak doors. Wow, I opened everything. That's good. Polished blackstone slabs, smooth quartz blocks, sea lanterns, levers. There was definitely something else. Maybe not. End rods. I'm sure I'll think of it in about 5 minutes. And we'll just go stone stairs. That works to start. Starting from the front left-hand corner of your 40 by 40 grid coffee minute. This build is symmetrical, technically 4 ways. The only difference would be the front door existing. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. But other than that, everything is, like, each of the 4 sides is the same. But from this corner, you're going to start by counting back diagonally right by 2 and going right. You're going to place a polished blackstone, 4 black glass, polished blackstone, 4 black glass, polished blackstone, 4 black glass, polished blackstone, black glass, 2 dark oak doors, black glass, polished blackstone, 4 glass, polished blackstone, 4 glass, polished blackstone, 4 glass, and then another polished blackstone. Can't even lie, I probably don't need my alt account for this. It's somewhere over there. I don't know where, because this is a fairly simple build overall. You're then going to take each polished blackstone corner, and you'll do kind of the same thing going back. Now, I want to also point out, it's 3 glass rows, the door, and then 3 more glass rows. And going backwards, you're going to do the 4 glass and polished blackstone. So you have a total of 5? No, 7 windows. I'm bad at math. 5... and then 7 would be there. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. We skipped the number 6, but it's there, trust me. And then you'll also do it across the back to connect the 2 sides. I don't need to actually do the other side to connect, I can just cheat. But also it's the same, it's just 7 of those glass rows. You can change it if you want, like you could make it front to back, you could make it 6 instead. Just to not have it a square, but it really depends on the spacing you have. I wouldn't make the front wider or thinner. I found that this particular amount worked well. I originally had it as another window wide, so I had it 8. But I just didn't like the way that looked. I thought it was just like too wide. Although it would still be thinner, I think, than both other skyscrapers. So, you know. You then pretty much just want to copy that row an additional 2 times or 3? 3 times. Just the only difference is you're placing 3 rows of, or 2 black glass on top of either door, I guess it would be. Something like that. Hopefully everyone is having a good day or night. I am for the most part. It's almost Christmas as of recording this. And you haven't even seen Skyscraper 2 yet. Haha, at least publicly. Well, at this time. Obviously by now, it's how numbers work. You would go in order. But that does feel like a me thing to just screw up on accident. Somehow release number 6 before number 4 releases. And then number 5 doesn't even exist. We don't know where he went. Not that actually happened ever, but I mean, maybe. Sometimes I screw up episode numbers. Very rarely. I've been really, like, careful with the long tutorials, especially with PPT2, because of that being, 68 parts. With just making sure that I'm not missing or skipping numbers or doubling up. Because, especially with tutorials, it creates more of an issue. Let's Builds, if it happens, it happens, whatever. But with the tutorials, I really want to be careful. because if I do that, that will definitely throw somebody off and be like, wait, I just watched that part number, or wait, what about the one before, you know? If you're following along with a Let's Build, that's a whole other conversation, but I don't think about that as much since most Let's Builds get turned into tutorials anyway. Well, not most, but the important ones, I'll say. Laughs and Ellen, too. I think I would perish before I would finish a tutorial on that map, genuinely. That'd be terrible. Anyway, you should end up with this. Around the top row of the windows, you're going to place polished blackstone slabs that just go all the way around. You want to add the corners as well, so it's like a perfect square, I guess. Why is there an airplane? Why not airplane is, I think, a better question. You should have this. Before we continue up, I want to get the kind of bottom situated here with the leaves and stuff. So, first off, where the front door is, you want to, basically on this pane of glass, you're going to take the top kind of corners, and on the polished blackstone slabs in front, you're going to place levers, and you want them to point inwards like this. You're going to have to flip one of them, and the other will just be pointed already that way. Then if you crouch and off either end rod or just coming off of one of them twice, or either lever, sorry, coming off of them twice, you can place just end rods like so. That was the foreshadowing. You can get rid of the end rods and levers and get out oak leaves or whatever leaf block you choose and stone slabs. Off of each bottom polished blackstone, you want a stone stair just facing outward. This is on all 4 sides. So have fun. Or don't. I guess. I don't know. I would hope you're having fun. It's the whole point of Minecraft, I guess. Whole point of video games, and well, I guess it would be the general point, but I feel like the more we've developed, the more we've just been like, yeah, I'm gonna play this game even though I hate it. Then extend each stone stair out with a stone slabs, and connect those slabs together in essentially a giant square. Basically, like these 2 corner ones will just bring it and connect at the corner. The only exception is you're not cutting off the front door. You're leaving this, like, 4-block gap open. But, yeah, and you can basically, if you have your grid, just go all the way around it. Again, make sure you just leave those 4 blocks open. But I do feel like a lot of, like, people, because streamers and pro sports and stuff, still enjoy the game to an extent. But, like, you can play it without liking it. Sad reality, but that's how it is sometimes. Then between each of the stairs, in front of the bottom row of glass, just in these gaps, you want to place your leaves. You can mix and match if you want as well, or even do like grass or something. I just went with leaves because I didn't really think about it too hard. I was just placing. I needed something because the bottom looked so weird when every other level had that like flare out for the quartz. And I didn't like the way that it looked when I tried it on the bottom, so I was like, what else can I do? And this was just where I went with it. I think it looks good. Also, where the door is this time, you're going to just off of kind of these bottom 2 glass, extend forward with 2 leaves, like so. So it almost just gives you a pathway. And you can, if you want, just kind of break the center here and replace it with stone. I didn't, but I would probably do whatever the sidewalk material you use would be. Which, if you follow my refresh stuff, it would be sandstone, I suppose. Could also go smooth stone. There's a lot of options. So, here's the fun part, not really. If you take each corner polished blackstone slab, you can smack a sea lantern on top of it. This is just the way that I mark the sea lanterns, there's really no other reason to that. And then on top of every other slab, and also the glass, and like, you know, the original row of the, I guess, the walls, you'll place smooth quartz on top of. So really, it's just connecting each sea lantern together, and then going another row in. At least for now. We'll also go out a row, but that's a spoiler alert, so don't do that yet. Spoilers and tutorials. Something funny about that to me. You should have this. And again, because you don't really want to see the sea lanterns, their only purpose is to kind of light these corners. Just bring another row of smooth quartz out. You can remove them if you want. I just felt like it looked a little dull with no lighting. But that also, I think, is dependent on if you give this thing an interior, because if you do, you can light the interior, and then that really removes this problem entirely. So, yeah, but you should end up with this. Each of those smooth quartz blocks, sea lanterns included, even though they're not smooth quartz, you're going to bring up with an additional smooth quartz. The reason you need all 3 rows here is one is what the wall sits on and is above the wall, and then the other 2 are just sticking out. I mean, there's not a ton else to it. But the reason the middle row is important is just because, again, we'll build directly off it for the walls, and we also want the glass to be connecting into something. Which, again, that's like, if you have a ceiling or floor material that you would want to switch it to instead, that's absolutely an option. I don't really think about that a ton, especially with things like this, so. But, anyway. Also, just now processing the Christmas comment, because I'm realizing you're seeing this past the New Year, which is really funny, because, yeah, it's December 23rd right now, and I'm like, okay, so you're going to be seeing this probably late January, like a month after. You want to take each of those 4 corners, not where the sea lanterns are, but like the kind of inner corners here, these smooth quartz, and bring them each up with just 1 polished blackstone for now. And you can probably guess what we're doing from here. Yeah. Like so. Wow, this is going to be short, actually. As in the tutorial. Bring each blackstone towards each other with 4 glass, blackstone, 4 glass, blackstone, etc. until they connect. And it should line up perfectly. If not, check... 1, all of your rows of 4, and because I almost just made a mistake. And 2, also, you can check from the inside and just see that your 2 walls are aligned, and you can kind of see, like, if I just take this blackstone and replace the smooth quartz with blackstone, I see that connects nicely. That'd be a nice way to visualize it. Obviously, you wouldn't want to do that for every single one, because... why would you? But, yeah. Anything that's fun to say here? I don't think so. I just got a short tutorial done for me, because I was planning on recording Pharmacy Refresh, both exterior and interior, after this, which I think will probably be the next tutorial you see, since I'm not particularly... getting away from the way that I record them, but to be able to do 3 in a day sometimes is a lot, and having a short one is always nice. You then, again, there's nothing crazy here. Copy the row 3 more times, and it's basically the same as the bottom floor from this point. I will instruct everything again, and then, you know, go from there. And then we're going to copy-paste like we did the last skyscraper, if you guys follow that one. This one's a lot easier, though, with the copy-pasting, I feel like. Well... I don't actually know if it's different. It's just an easier skyscraper in general, but I wouldn't really call it easier in that sense. Okay, that's awesome. And I can also give you the measurements and everything, obviously, but they are just the grid measurements for the X and Z, and then Y would be whatever Y needs to be, which I want to say is 6 in this context. Context, with a T at the end. I feel like I just don't say it with the T. Maybe I do, and I'm just stupid. But it feels like to me I say it wrong. I don't know. Like, I say context. But it's context. I don't know. I just work here. Still true. Okay. Side 3 of 4. That's good. There's more where that came from, though, because there's a 4th. But wait, there's 4. I get it, like, but wait, there's more, but instead of saying more, I said 4, because there's 4 sides. Terrible joke, I know. I think that's the point, though. I honestly, I feel like bad jokes are funnier than good jokes, because, like, they're so bad, you can't help but laugh. You can't help but laugh at somebody thinking that's funny. But I guess then they think that you think it's funny, so then they think it's funny again. And it just, I don't know. I am just rambling at this point. Nothing out of my mouth is coherent. You should end up with this. And again, it's like the same thing. We don't have the funny little light hanging down there since we don't have a door. But off of the top row of the windows here, you're going to place the polished blackstone slab square going around. We also don't have the potted plants because, I mean, you could add them. I'd be interested to see how that looks, actually. You could absolutely add them. I'm kind of curious now. Maybe even just like removing the slabs and just putting the leaves, but I don't know. That might get a little bit cluttered. Because I'm trying to make it non-cluttered, if that makes sense. And then we're doing the same thing, at least to start. You're placing the sea lantern in each polished blackstone slab corner. Then placing your smooth quartz on both these slabs and then the like actual walls themselves. And in addition to that, you're bringing it out another row to basically cover those sea lanterns from the outside. And I'll reiterate that in a sec. Although I guess that shouldn't be particularly difficult. I don't know. What's simple to me might not be simple to everyone, so. But I mean, it always helps me because I have built this build, in fact, before, in case that wasn't obvious. And then again, just have row smooth quartz around the perimeter, which is literally just the grid space, by the way, if that's important either. Shouldn't be, but just fun to know. You should end up with this. Now, from this point, you would place the additional row of smooth quartz on top here, and then you would start the next floor and repeat that basically infinitely. You want it to be the same. You have, again, it's the 2 rows of smooth quartz and then the 4 tall windows, and then just repeat that forever. Now, if you're like me and are thinking, hell no, I don't want to do all that, get out, or do in the chat, Minecraft chat, /give at s_structure_block if you do not have one. And because I do have one, I'm just gonna yoink. And basically on this row of smooth quartz here, the lower one in this second floor, which would be kind of, I guess, like the base almost, just place your structure block in a corner, and your structure block should line up like this. If it does not, whatever corner it will do that with is what corner you should pick. For me, it just happens to be the front right, but it could be literally any of the 4. In the structure block, you want to type for the X value here, 40. For the Y, also 40. And for the Y, it should just be 6. And don't touch the offsets or anything, just because it makes our life easier if you don't. And then name this file whatever you want. I'll name it 1, just for fun. I'll then, on that same corner, go up, and you would, I think, need to place... Well, okay, you can just, on this corner, place a smooth quartz block. And then on top of that, place your structure block, go into load mode. It would not be G, it would be 1 for me. And then you will load it again. And yeah, you will have to place that smooth quartz on the corner each time. And just keep labeling it 1. And I can tell you how many floors I have in total. 3, 6, 9, 12. I have 14 floors in total. And if you're also lazy like I am, you can actually go into load mode, type the thing, whatever. And it should show you like this, the grid. And if I smack this or get rid of this, I can actually control block pick the structure block, and you see it'll give me some plus data, and then I can also get out a redstone block, and if I just like shift and place on top of the structure block a redstone block, it'll automatically load in. And so I can essentially on the corner place smooth quartz, structure block, redstone, break the structure block, and just repeat that until I'm at the designated height. Which, again, 14 floors in total, including the bottom 2, is kind of where I find to be that sweet spot. But you can go taller, shorter, whatever. Play around with it. I'd honestly start with 14. And if you don't like 14, then, you can try around with it. And make sure you'll just have that that row of smooth quartz on top. I'm just going to place it on the front here for a second. Because then again, I can look down and I can see, or look up at it rather, I guess. And I can see, yeah, that looks like a good height to me. And then what you would end up doing, okay, I've been AFK so long in my alt account, I got a pop-up saying you've been away for a bit. That's wild. So when you place an additional row of smooth quartz on top of the perimeter to have it the 2 rows thick, you're going to fill in the entire roof with smooth quartz here. You can add windows or something if you want. I just didn't really feel like this was particularly the build for it. But it's up to you. Again, play around with it. I always recommend that. Just seeing what you like, what you dislike. Maybe if there's something you're looking at with this and you're like, that looks a little weird to me, then you can mess around with it as much as you find necessary. But I was happy with it. But as always, there is definitely room for improvement. I'm not the pinnacle of Minecraft building by any means. I wonder who that would be, actually. I don't know. The person that comes to mind immediately to me is Korean. I don't know why. Anyway, once you've done that, ladies and gentlemen, that is entirely unrelated, but that's your third installment of Skyscraper complete. Let me know if you've built all three and which one your favorite is. I actually think this one is my favorite. The other two were definitely more detailed, but this one just simple when it works, so. Anyway, with that being said, thank you guys for watching this video, and if you guys did enjoy this video, have a fantastic rest of your day. Or night. I knew I wasn't going to have it. Ah, god darn it. And I will see you on the next one. Peace.